Okay, guys, what's one of the best audiophile dealers in the entire country? Located in Florida, though, and will be at the Florida Audio Expo in Tampa next week, I believe with 5 rooms. It's House of Stereo, and this video is long overdue. I'm going to give you a tour and interview with Joe Parvey and some of the unique things he's going to bring to the show. Stay tuned. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a really cool video because it's featuring an audiophile dealer with tons of eye candy. I love featuring these dealers. There's still, brick and mortar is still alive with the right people. And that's what I like to feature, some of the right people that are doing it the right way, still successful. And Joe Parvey at House of Stereo, I've developed a relationship over time. I haven't done any feature though. So a lot of what you're going to see in this video of House of Stereo is going to be stuff he's bringing to the show, but also a walkthrough of his entire store. And you're going to see from different budget points, different types of speakers, different electronics. He covers it all. He probably has too much. You probably have decision paralysis going into his store, but it's a really cool place. And he's running, I think, 5 rooms at a show. And let me tell you, just running my little room that I'm going to have, the little desktop system, so much you have to coordinate, doing 5 in these kind of massive setups and all this gear. You're going to see them breaking down gear and bringing half the store to the show. It's an amazing operation that he runs. So enjoy this video. I'm also doing, as you've been noticing, featuring the best brands, like Isoacoustic's going to be there. I featured them. Unique Home Stereo with the Potpourris is going to be there, and the Bach. I just did a video, Zoom, with Steve Jane of Fidelity Imports. They're going to, instead of doing their multiple rooms, they're going to have a big conference room. So I'm going to have that video, and that's what I'm transitioning to, guys. As part of my show coverage is now I'm doing a lot of stuff pre-show coverage, and that includes the Southwest Audio Fest, which is also run by Gary Gill, same people who do the Capital Audio Fest. So I'm going to even start right after this show, start previewing you stuff for that show. But don't miss Tampa, don't miss House of Stereo. Enjoy this Zoom because I learned a lot, and I think you will too.
Hey, Jason, this is Joe Parvey with House of Stereo. We're standing in the Focal Powered by Name room today and wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on and what's going to happen in Florida.
Cool. Yeah. I got a press release. I want to see something in particular that we talked about, but yeah, show us all the stuff that you got going on.
Okay. Well, all right. So as far as the press release goes, I suspect that it is talking about our Ebene Blancs. So this is the white ebony wood, and that's a special wood for, let me turn the camera around. So that's a special wood that Focal offers through their Focal Powered by Name stores, of which there's several in the country. We're here in North Florida. And so Ebene Blanc, the Zeracoat, which is our Grand Utopia back here, these are some of those special finishes. And then there's a gold moire, which is a paint with gold flakes in it. And this really shows off, the best of Focal's craftsmanship. These things take 2 months or more to build, and the speakers are actually, the veneers are book matched. So it's a very painstaking process, and the result is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cool looking. Speakers are a large part of every speaker purchase is going to be the aesthetics. If somebody doesn't like the look, especially, they're not going to buy it. But then when you can offer custom finishes and stuff that really stands out, people feel is unique to them. Obviously, this isn't going to be for everybody's taste, but I like to show that you can get these kind of finishes that are unique and separate yourself from everybody else. Focal is a very popular brand. You can get these unique finishes, which may resonate with people. So it's good that you're going to be showing these at the show. And you want to show us some of the other stuff you're going to be bringing?
Sure. Yeah. So now we took these to DC. I don't think I'm going to take them on the road anymore. It's such a it was a very difficult move, but I'm glad that we did it. So these are Bean Blancs, the white ebony are going. And let me just show you around the room a little bit. So this is the Focal Powered by Name Experience Center, part of our shop. And what that means is we took an entire 60 by 20 unit of the building that we occupy and dedicated it to Focal Name. So their products are going to be found in here. Here are the Focal Maestro Utopias. So this is one above the Scalas. And we're driving that with the 300 series system. So the NAP 350 monoblocks, the 332 preamp, and the 333 streamer DAC with the power supply. That's going to be driving the Scalas. And though they're not here in the room right now, we're going to be bringing the Focal Diva Utopias. Those are the new active ones. So Focal Name, in their first outing of merging those two companies and working together to produce a speaker, have created an active speaker system that I know you've heard, and we demonstrated it in DC. So we're taking that to Florida as well.
Yeah, that's a very innovative speaker, and we're seeing more and more of the preeminent brands start to do actives and the advantages that it provides, and especially not just in performance, but easing up the floor print of people's homes that have been consolidated over the years. This provides an attractive package altogether, and the performance now can even be better, arguably, you know, especially when companies like Focal are doing it with the right internals, active crossover and whatnot. So yeah, very impressed with that. You've got so many brands you rep. You want to talk about maybe some of those?
Well, of course, as you and I were talking about previously, T+A is one of our major brands. Company it, who we're going to be showing at the show. Stenheim, one of my favorite speakers. And I'd be hard pressed. The Maestros and the Stenheim Illumine 5s are two of my favorite speakers on the planet. We're bringing both of them to the Florida show. And Company it and Triangle will also be there. Viva Audio, tube manufacturer out of Italy, also a speaker manufacturer. We're going to be showing off some of Amadeo's products. And you've done a video on those. So
yeah,
I
so
think there's
Viva
real
is something people horns are very tough to do right unless you got a lot of money. And
yeah.
you know, if you have a lot of money, a cappella, and Viva is one of the most impressive I've been to. I've been fortunate enough to hear some of the best cost no object horn systems, and I did feature that one in Manhattan where he had two in his same in Manhattan brownstone, a beautiful home. But yeah, it was so well sorted in terms of I was blown away. And so Viva being at this show, the show is a tough condition to set up horns. And especially in a room, you've got to kind of judge it with that in mind. But yeah, that's a fabulous system. And they do everything. They do the amps and the amplification, Viva does. So it's
Yep.
one of those companies that does it all.
Well, and they're so the Numerico DAC will be there also.
Okay.
And you know, that was a big something I was really impressed with is the circuit design, Amadeo's circuit design, and his output stage really brought something special to their DACs. So just some of the nicest, most natural digital that I've heard in a long time. So that's something on its own that's worth stopping by to listen to, just to get an idea of what he can do with digital. In addition, we'll have the Allegros, which is the smaller. It's not the Nuda, the big Nuda or the credenza horn speakers are those beautiful, massive, just no, you know, just the best you can get as far as horns go from Italy, in my opinion. Sorry, bear with me one sec. I apologize.
Yeah,
I don't know if that can. So in any event, so we'll have those Vivas, and a total of 5 rooms there at the show. Focal's a big one. The T+A Stenheim room, Company it, Triangle, and Viva. So we're getting pretty excited.
Well, yeah, and this is why I like to feature distributors and dealers like yourself that can do 5 rooms. I mean, just running one room, I've seen behind the scenes with different people. It is a massive undertaking. People do not appreciate how much goes into. Are you going to have Wi-Fi? Are the cables going to match? Do you have XLRs or RCAs? Do you have the right length? Do you have the right partners? This partner is going to
Yeah.
show up or not? You know, like there's so many things you have to factor in that I don't think people really appreciate, that you don't just show up there that week and dump a system in there. You're basically breaking down your whole shop, you know, to fill the 5 rooms. And
Yeah.
so it's very important for people to appreciate that, number one. But also, this is a great time to talk to the people behind the brand that have experience with the brand. I learned stuff, not just the sound. The sound is important, but it's always going to be compromised by a hotel condition. This is a chance to
Right.
get to know the people that spend day to day with these brands, what they found works well together, what they found, taste profile. That's one of the values of this show, on top of the cool eye candy, which your rooms are going to have tons of cool eye candy for sure. The T+A stuff is really cool. I was just telling you about telling somebody that was looking for potentially buying the Griffin Apex, and I pointed them to the T+A as their other choice, is probably my suggestion, but it's one of my favorites, both aesthetically, performance wise. So looking forward to seeing that in Tampa. And yeah, anything else you wanted to share before?
Um, no, that's it. But you know, you covered it really well. The amount of effort that goes in, you know, people will notice that Friday, Saturday, we're dead on our feet. We're only recovering on Sunday, right when it's time to break it all down and take it back home. So it is an enormous undertaking. And so uh, you know, viewers to appreciate, you know, how hard we work to set those things up. You know, it's we're very grateful for the attendance. And you know, Florida's a great show, where Florida show feels like a vacation. You know, you have the snowbirds that out there swimming in the water, while we Floridians are still maybe wearing a sweater, but for them it's summer. Florida's a great show, and if you have the opportunity to come, definitely come down, especially if you're living in a northern climate right now.
Yeah, that's 2 things that I wanted to, you know, echo, is that number one, it's a very relaxed vibe
Hmm.
versus other shows. Just the demeanor of the venue, everything is very relaxed, but it's also not very large where you feel pressure that you have to see everything. You can actually
Right.
take time in each of your 5 rooms to talk and listen to more than one song and feel like you're not missing anything, especially if you go all 3 days. You should have plenty of
Hmm.
time to really digest. And really, you're not sacrificing anything at this show. That some of the best brands in the world are going to be there. So yeah,
Hmm.
and some of the best dealers. So definitely check out Joe. And I'll be definitely checking you out next week as well. So look forward to seeing you guys, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jason. Well, while we're here, do you want me to show you around a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. So, like I said, it's a mess. You know, all of this is just the beginning of packing. There's Jasmine.
Hello.
So, I think you met Jasmine in DC, but
Yes.
I'll introduce you again. Jasmine's in charge. And so Elliot, of course, is here. Our Borisons, we put a lot of them up front, so that right when you walk in the door, you can see them. And then as you need, we'll walk them back to one of our rooms and plug them in and listen. Here's our avant-gardes in our living room. Now, this is actually a Dolby Atmos TV theater
Okay.
with the Focal 1000 series throughout. We had never intended for speakers to be on the floor and electronics to be on the floor in this room. It was always supposed to be very clean, but we quickly ran out of space and had to break our own rules. And so it's been a stereo room ever since. And I like it because it's really real world. Like, I'm walking back here so that
Right.
uh, one of the problems with the old shop. Oh, and that's Chloe.
Okay.
Chloe's sitting
Cool.
there looking at us. Um, the old shop, there was not a single window in any of the stereo rooms, and people would say, "Oh yeah, you know, it sounds better here than it ever will at my house." And I realized early on that that was one of the reasons. So I like that I have 200 square feet of glass here, You see that we put some Vicoustic up there to handle
Right.
some of the slap echo, and that really tamed this room quite a lot. But this is good for, you know, some of our customers are Florida, you know, they live here in Florida. They have big living rooms, sometimes on the water, sometimes not, just big glass looking out at the woods, and they have to contend with what glass does.
Right.
So showing them how to mitigate that and
Yeah. Directional
making good
speakers
audio.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
now, yeah. So here's sound room 1. This is where things kind of get started here. And Triangle, of course, and Stenheim, and my Rel 31s. I wish they were 32s, but I think 31s will be fine for now.
Right.
There's my Viva. That is my Solista Mark III integrated. Now that's my personal one. So one of my favorite devices of all time. T plus A preamp and the R series multiplayer. Ansu's power supply, our render. And though I own Wolf Audio Systems and I founded Wolf Audio Systems, a Wolf is not for everybody. And so for everyone else, we have our render and we have Hi-Fi Rose here. And, you know, both product lines really good. And if you're a tinkerer or, you know, a techie like me, then Wolf might be for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're also a big VPI shop. So my children and Matt's children are kind of growing up in hi-fi together, and you know it's a great thing. So our companies are very close, and I work with them a lot. And you'll often find me in New Jersey. Now, Stenheim, I think the Absolute Sound gave us Best Sound in Show last year with these Illuminae 5s. So this is one of my favorite speakers. I mentioned between the Maestros and the Illuminae 5s. If I had to pick just one, I'd have a very, very hard time. Then, all right, so that's sound room 1.
All right.
Now, on the way, you know, we have a lot of curio pieces, and this piece of furniture that I saved and loved so much, saying one day I'll figure out something to do with it. But there's the Electro Company integrated with their CD player. And we were driving it actually with the Borisons, but we moved them back up front. Sound room 2, this is cool. This is a 13 by 15 room. So this is your average Florida guest bedroom. So the kids go off to college, you get a bedroom back and you want to put a stereo in it, this is that room. So here we have, you know, Cambridge, their new EX series, the CX series, and their separates, and Advanced Paris, Audio Research, the Triangle Ontals. So it's a step above getting started hi-fi, but it's still, you know, it's still pretty, you know, reasonably priced hi-fi. It's amazing stuff at this at these price points.
Yeah, you carry a lot of brands.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, we're a national shop. You know, we you know, there's areas that don't have good representation of hi-fi stores, and so you know we obviously become kind of the default shop for those people who don't have regular stereo shops. And we have a guest house, in fact, that if you're from out of town and you're coming to shop with us, you can make use of the guest house.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want people to come in. We want, you know, this to be a destination shop. And so here's our headphone section, which we're using, you know, T plus A. And I've got to figure out, I really want the Viva to fit there. But it's a little too hot for this rack. But eventually I want the Egoista STX to also, you know, live in here. But let's see. So now we're kind of getting into our used section, and we're walking towards the back of the shop. And it's a real mess back here because we're also staging for some of the Florida packing. Our 3.7X Maggies, another big fan favorite.
Okay.
T plus A, little PS audio. We're listening to PS audio and putting them through their paces. More T plus A, some Triangle. This is another company that has great finishes.
Yeah.
So, the French and what they're doing, it's just quite neat. Eggleston Works, love Eggleston Works, great company. Jim and the guys are really good. And again, getting ready. So everything's kind of torn down or in the process of being torn down. But this is what we call the high-end room. Rather than the Focal name experience center, this is the high-end room. And this is where you're going to find the T+As and the Electric Company. It's the Big Maggies and the Ultime 2s. Now, these were last seen in DC in Matt's room, the VPI room in DC. But we brought them up for him, and we're taking these down, and these are going to be in our headliner room. So the T+A monoblocks and the Stenheim Ultime 2s. I'm really excited about that. We're going to have Synergistic Research SRX cables cabling it up. And I'm deciding which turntable to bring. I'll probably bring the Avenger Direct, but there's an HW40 that I really want to bring also. Our HRS rack. This is T+A's reference DAC being driven by, one of our servers. And that's a prototype. So that's a Gen 4 server that I've been working on. Synergistic Research Galileo, more of our audio research. And also, so both pairs of monoblocks will be at the show, but these are those Electric Company at Nemos, the 800 watt per channel monoblocks. So that's a really cool pair of amps. If you have some big old speakers, not unlike these, those things are perfect. Very, very happy with how they sound. My reel-to-reel, my record collection, the old owner took all his records home with him. Okay. So I had to start from nothing. And I thought some records would be part of the deal, but I was wrong. So I had to start over. But yeah, so that's the shop in a nutshell. Messy shop, but the shop.
No, it's understandable at this time of year, but it's very impressive that you have the variety to give people a sense of what room may be more conducive to where they're putting the gear. You have obviously a wide range of brands and types of speakers and budget points, so that's good to see. Some people only cater to certain budget points and certain, taste of speakers. So you give people a chance to try it all, from horns to Magnabands to traditional box speakers of different styles. I mean, aluminum versus MDF versus, different aesthetic profiles as well. So you basically got everything covered, and certainly would be an audiophile's Disneyland. You're the audiophile Disneyland in Florida to go visit.
Yeah. Well, and that was, you hit on something there. So we're not just high end only. We have, hang on, let me move. We have beginner systems. We have, sub $1,000 integrated amplifiers for people to get started with. We have a number of kids. Like grandpa brings his 12-year-old grandson in, found a turntable in the garage, or found it in the closet, and grandpa brings him in and puts a new cartridge on it and gets the kid started. And so what we'll do is we'll waive the service fee. I'll have my service guy check it out, lube it up, and get him going, because we want new and young audiophiles. And another area that we're really focused on right now is increasing the amount of hi-fi that's available and easy for the female market. So Jasmine is really helping us, and what we're finding is professional women, artists, also want hi-fi, and they don't buy hi-fi like we buy hi-fi, but they're buyers, and can certainly appreciate the magic of what hi-fi is. And so we go out of our way to cater to that and to help them find things that they like. And so that concept of cradle to grave in terms of our product offerings, not only is it the right thing to do, it's good business.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
think you said you're even bringing your kids to the show.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
keeping the new generation. And yeah, the products have never been better in terms of delivering performance, and technology is taking us to new levels of performance that we never had before. But also we're seeing budgets come down so that you can
Right.
get a taste of the best, not too far, at very
Right.
reasonable levels. There's always going to be an incremental, but nowadays it's not like it used to be. You can get magnificent performance at a relatively modest budget. If you
Right.
pick right, if you got the right
Right.
synergy, if you don't, you have the right people advising you. So sounds
Hmm.
like you guys are doing well in that realm, and definitely looking forward to seeing your rooms. I'll let you get back to packing everything. I'm going to be
Okay.
there. I got to start packing as well, and
Yeah.
doing more, getting some features out. But yeah, definitely great seeing you, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason.